Last night during Netflix Festival Japan 2021, Netflix just had a slew of titles they ran through for their festival. And I watched the series, and while quite a bit of it is just kind of them re-showing off what they're already planning on doing for the last 3 years, there was some tidbits in there. So if you're looking for a breakdown of what happened during the event, stay tuned. Kick things off, they have Super CROOKS, which they did a trailer for. It's just a reminder on there that it's going to be in November 25th is when they're going to be releasing this series. The exciting thing for me is that Kendra Suda will be working on this series, so I'm looking forward to that. For the next announcement they have a trailer for Agotsuko, the 4th season, which is out there, so you can check that out. They have announced during that trailer that they will be debuting the series on December 16th, so just around the corner. Next one came out of nowhere for me. Maybe I missed it, but yeah, Kakagururi is getting a spin-off manga adapted. It's Kakagururi Twin. And this one is going to be worldwide released in August of 2022. This is, of course, an adaptation of the spin-off manga by Katsura Saika. So it'll be following basically a year prior to the events of the original story, which, of course, is the girl transferring into this school. And it will follow Mary Satomi. So that was kind of one of my favorite characters. So definitely something to probably check out. Following this, they went over regular Ragnarok again. Pretty much no news in this segment. It was just saying, hey, we're still doing this. Congratulations. Also, Beastars 3 popped up on the screen. Nothing new. I think they had a new visual, but there you go. Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex popped up on there. Of course, the 2nd season, which I've been waiting for forever. They left on a really nasty cliffhanger, and I'm still waiting for more. But yeah, they're still saying that it's going to be in 2022. Ultraman Season 2. Again, still old news, planning on releasing that in 2022, but they did release a new teaser image, which had pretty much all 6 Ultraman warriors. I think they mentioned Production IG and Solo Digital Arts will be working on it, which I think was the same as the 1st season. They had Tiger and Bunny 2nd season up on there. They talked about the fact they were going to be getting this 1st season on Netflix as well, so that's exciting news for those that need to get caught up. Me. They released a new visual for it, as well as a worldwide premiere of April 2022, so be excited for that. They showed Spriggan again. Same trailer they had, I think, about 2 months ago, so nothing new really there. Still claiming David Productions working on it. 2022 is the release date. This is one that I actually completely missed, and this is Kotaro Lives Alone. Now, I think I've seen images of this series, but I haven't really looked into it at all. But they released a new teaser trailer for this series. It essentially follows a 4-year-old who is named Kotaro, and he's moving next door to Shin Karino, an unsuccessful manga artist. Kotaro has no parents and lives alone. Not only does he seem to be earning a living, he actually seems more put together than his own strange neighbors. The cool thing about this one is Kotaro is going to be voiced by Rie Kajimiya, so that's fantastic. It's being done by Leiden Films. They said on the stream that it was going to be releasing in 2022. Some news sources are listing it as spring 2022. I looked back on the footage, didn't see anything about spring, but just know 2022. Now, this is a cool section of their entire segment. They're, of course, doing this roulette where they were going through all these different types of subjects like, growth or this or that. And one of the segments was originals. And, of course, originals, Andrew, we go hand in hand. So I was definitely excited for this segment. Unfortunately, of course, everything is pretty much stuff they've already announced. But they did add some new information for these particular titles, including new visuals. For the first one they have is Vampire in the Garden. This one they opened up with announcing that they have 2 stars for this series because they have a main character who's a human and a main character who is a vampire. The voice acting will be done by Megumi Han and Yu Kobayashi. So definitely some solid seiyus that are be working on that. They released a new teaser art, which is fantastic, looks beautiful. It's set to be released in 2022. It's going to be done by Wit Studio. The synopsis is, after humanity lost its battle with the vampires, a small population creates a town to protect themselves. The protagonist wishes to coexist with the vampires. The vampire queen once loved the humans and disappeared from battlefield. The two have a fateful encounter. Humans and vampires once lived in harmony in a paradise, and so I think they're seeking out that paradise. And that was pretty much it, which I think the only thing new there is the teaser art, but still excited for it. For the next one, I knew about this show, but I didn't know the significance of it. I think we even talked about it in our podcast. And that's the Orbital Children Extraterrestrial Boys and Girls. Now, this is a series that, like I said, I think I've seen stuff on it and looked at the synopsises, seen some trailers. It looks fantastic, but I didn't know how significant it was to me. As I kind of find out during this whole ordeal of looking up information for all this stuff they're announcing, I knew that the series is going to be done by the director and creator Mitsuo Iso, who, of course, did Denno Coil. What I didn't know until I seen this trailer was that this story takes place 15 years after Denno Coil. So I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know there was actually a connection of stories. And that just has my enthusiasm just like shooting up there. Now, I don't know if it'll have any character connections or anything like that, but 15 years, I'm sure there'll be a lot of references there at least. Probably the children of Dental Coil, who knows? But that said, this is going to have a 6-episode release. This, of course, was already going to be doing a 2-part theatrical release in Japan, but what they're doing, of course, is they're releasing it all in 6 episodes on Netflix at the same time. So that's fantastic. This will be streaming on January 28th. It's going to be 6 episodes, like I said. The studio is Production Plus H. I have zero clue who that is. I think originally they said it was going to be Signal MD, so it might be a spinoff of Signal MD. But like I said, it takes place in 2045, which again is 15 years after the events of Dental Coil. Internet and artificial intelligence has become widespread in the outer space. Following in a massive accident at a space station, a group of children are left behind using narrowband and SNS, low intelligence AI, and smartphone-controlled drones. They overcome numerous crises. So definitely excited for that one. Trailer looks fantastic. Cannot wait. And of course, the last of the original that they went over was Inception. And Inception is the one that they touted, of course, has the character art by Yoshitaka Amano, who, of course, is known for doing the Final Fantasy series. Really cool looking artwork. Going to be working on that. Also, the original story by Hirotaka Adachi. I don't think it was announced before, but they did say that it was worldwide 2022 was going to be the release date. Synopsis, of course, is in the distant future. Human beings have been forced to leave Earth and migrate to another galaxy. An advanced team of spacecrafts arrives at a planet so that it can be terraformed. Each member of the team is output by a biological 3D printer. It's only a matter of time. A fatal error occurs during the creation of one of the members, and yeah, stuff happens. So I'm guessing somebody's going to look pretty horrific when they come out of that. Maybe somebody bumps the 3D printer. Detective Conan fans, be excited. I think this is some new news, but apparently they're going to both have 2 different series for Detective Conan series. One's going to be Zero's Tea Time, as well as The Culprit Hanzawa. So apparently Conan fans are probably super excited for this. Unfortunately, I'm not really into the series, but I know it's got a fandom, so good on you guys. Now, here was probably the biggest flub of the entire conference. 7 Deadly Sins, Grudge of Edinburgh, Part 1. I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where somebody creates something and everybody around that sees it's like, that's not very, should we tell them? Should we tell them? And then nobody tells them. And so they go out there and they show it to everybody. And then you realize, yeah, I probably should have told them. It's not going to look good. Anyways, at least from the trailer's perspective, the entire thing looks full CGI. It is not a good CGI. I think they've listed Production Plus H as well, but it's an original. It's going to be a 2-part. It's supposed to be original story. Like the trailer says original story. So apparently it's completely original stuff. I would say what they said the synopsis was supposed to be, or at least what it involves, but I think that's pretty much spoilers, so I'll just leave it for you to look it up. If you've been into the 7 Deadly Sins series, you can look it up yourself. But they have announced that they will be streaming both parts of this original film, on Netflix in 2022, so if you're excited for 7 Deadly Sins and you love not good looking CGI. I'm a fan of a lot of CGI anime. I have Nice Sidonia back here, Ajin's back here. I even watched Nighthead 2020 or 2045, and people got mad at me for that. I love a lot of CGI anime, but this doesn't look good. And especially for how much I've watched of 7 Deadly Sins, I haven't finished it. This isn't good. This, in my perspective, as my very subtle fan of 7 Deadly Sins, this does not look good, so watch at your own risk. I will still kind of check out a lot of the trailers as it goes along, just to keep an eye on it, but it kind of sucks. I feel bad for the heavy 7 Deadly Sins fans. The last one they had on there was Drifting Home. This one has got me quite excited. It's being done by Studio Colorido, and of course I really liked Whisker Away, and I didn't get a chance to check out Penguin Highway yet, but that's the other film they've done for Netflix. This is going to be a 3rd film they'll be doing for Netflix. And of course, it is under Project Twin Engines. It's going to be releasing in 2022. And the visuals and everything look really fantastic. It essentially follows Kosuke and Natsume. They have been friends since they were children. Over time, unfortunately, their friendship kind of got strained as they got into school and everything. And at some point when they're in 6th grade, they eventually come back one day during vacation, and they visit a housing complex that is scheduled to be demolished. Having grown up there, the place holds a lot of memories, but while playing, they suddenly get caught up in a mysterious phenomenon When they regain consciousness, they see that the entire ocean is around them, and the housing complex is drifting into a mysterious sea with Kosuke, Natsume, and others in it. Will they be able to return to their previous world? A summer farewell journey begins. Kind of sad. Yes, based on the comments in the chat during the time of the stream, yeah, kind of get a little bit of Sunny Boy vibes there, but we'll see. We'll see. It's a housing complex, not a school. To kind of round out the night, they of course did a lot of directorial interviews, which was fantastic, but the thing that I really found fantastic in the later parts of this entire stream last night was the Kenjiro Tsuda time. Yes, we had an entire segment on Kenjiro Tsuda, and it was only because of this that I realized how much Netflix is just stuffing Kenjiro Tsuda's pockets with money. Of course, we have like the entire live action Way of the House Husband stuff. They even have this whole segment on Tatsu and like action stuff for him. But I didn't realize how much like voicing roles he's doing. Like they have this spread of like 12 different anime titles in recent years that he's done work for. So they're definitely keeping him on board, which is fantastic. I love Kenjiro Tsuda, so every time I hear him, they're going to get me to watch a show on Netflix if it's got Kenjiro Tsuda in it. But they did announce that in addition to all this, that they will be having Kenjiro Tsuda voice Lucius in Tharmai Romai Novai, which is going to have a 2022 release. Like I said earlier, he's going to be in Super Crooks, which is fantastic. He's already in Way of the House Husband. And then to kind of wrap things up, as they were talking about all these different roles and how he played each one of them, they had him do some voicing, which was fantastic. I've never heard them coin the term Tatsu dialect, but apparently that's a thing. It makes sense because, like I said, Way of the House Husband, that's Kenjiro Tsuda's style. Like, that is him. So whenever you hear him anywhere and he's got that gruff Yakuza self, that's Kenjiro Tsuda's style. But it was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. As for the rest of the event, was great. A lot of fantastic trailers. A lot of titles that I'm super excited for. Unfortunately, like I said, it's kind of really hard to sift through what's old and what's new news, but to know that pretty much all this stuff is worldwide streaming in 2022 is fantastic. Doesn't mean it's not too far away, and plus everybody can enjoy these titles, so definitely excited for it. Hope you guys enjoyed this news. If you did, leave a like down below. Comment, let me know thought of these news bit. Which titles are you excited for? Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video if you can. Support us on Patreon if you can. We definitely appreciate everybody that does, and y'all take care.